This is our destiny. We about to lift our community so we can be all around the world. Yeah, we gon' be all around the world. All around the world, going all around the world. Yeah, we gon' be all around the world. All around the world, going all around the world. We building wealth, leaving legacy. This is our destiny. We about to lift our community so we can be all around the world. Yeah, we gon' be all around the world. All around the world, going all around the world. Yeah, we gon' be all around the world. All around the world, going all around the world. We building wealth, leaving legacy.
Good evening, everyone. This is Donna Jean coming to you live from the SOS show with Know Your Black History. But before we go into the show, I know you notice I have on a mask tonight because guess what? Coronavirus is real. We should all be wearing our masks when we are in public places. I know it might not be comfortable at night, might not be cute. Mine's is cute, but anyway, thank you, Terry, for my mask. She designed mine especially because I wear glasses, so to keep it from hurting my ears. So I don't care what type of mask you wear, please wear your mask. Now that little public service announcement has been made, practice social distancing and all of that good stuff, I'm more than happy to purchase you a mask right now because the numbers with the coronavirus is going back up. Please, people, wear your mask. With that being said, John Sanders, where are you?
Hi, John. I'm back. I'm excited. I'm glad you all have me back the third week.
Third week. Yeah.
I'm excited to be on. I'm ready to rock and roll. I'm ready to educate our community.
Hey.
Yeah. Thank you all for having me back again.
You're more than welcome. We are glad that you took the time out of your busy schedule to come back and share a piece of you with us. So with that said, I know some of you can see the background behind us. That's showing Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street was a community in Tulsa, Oklahoma. For those of you that didn't know, was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they owned everything. They had their own airport, plane, hospital, bank, school, you name it, they had it. They had over 600 businesses, 21 churches, 21 restaurants, 30 grocery stores, 2 movie theaters, 6 private airplanes, a hospital, a bank, and its own school system. So with that being said, we have talked about the difference between Black Wall Street then opposed to what we have going on in our communities now. And we're going to just continue to elaborate on that tonight. So,
absolutely.
Yeah. So how would you like to start this chat between friends?
And this is a really good conversation. I know we can take this so many different ways. I really appreciated the conversations we were having last week and the week before last. We talked about the history of Black Wall Street, how Wall Street was erected, and how Wall Street was sustained and essentially destroyed. And it's important that we talk about this over and over and over again so that the next generation understands the power of Black wealth. I know we were having a discussion earlier about many of us understand the history of Black Wall Street. Not all, and we can certainly reinforce some of the discussions we had last week.
Yeah.
But the question we have now is, how do we protect Black Wall Street? And when I'm talking about Black Wall Street, not Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma today, but how do we protect Black community in our process of redeveloping and reconstructing our community in a time when many people are discouraged about the future of Black community? Many people come to me and say, well, we can't build Black community anymore because anything we construct something of value, the white supremacist economic structure comes right in and they destroy it. So, I think this segues into a conversation that's necessary, educating our people on not only building Black community, but how do we protect the Black community so we don't fall prey to the same ills of white supremacy. We're not victims of destruction like we were before.
Okay, so my question is, when you say protect, like me, I'm a woman.
Mm-hmm.
And I love for a man I wanted him to feel like, I want to feel like he's protecting me.
Absolutely.
So,
we're talking about this.
How can we make that relevant to all men, where where not just protect their woman, but protect their community as well?
I love this conversation. Because we're in a society, we're in a time now when we're in a time where America has worked systematically to destroy natural order. Let's go ahead and establish that. Natural order is under attack. The man, by default, is designed, the man has been designed to protect and provide for the woman, the children, and the entire family unit. Man represents headship, meaning that simply, in layman's terms, that simply means he's the protector, the provider, and the defender of the entire turf. And this is nothing unusual. I mean, we've always understood this. It wasn't until Beyonce came out with her "I'm Independent," her independent woman, movement, that people started to challenge this natural order. But when we connect, these issues are all interrelated. They're all interconnected, because when you look at the state of the Black community is unprotected. If you look at our entire socioeconomic ecosystem, our communities have always been vulnerable to white supremacist attack. There are 3 layers of protection that we need to solidify in the Black community if we're serious about rebuilding Black Wall Street and sustaining Black Wall Street. 1, we need political protection, and I'm going to talk about that. Secondly, we need economic protection. And 3rd, we need Black male protection. The Black man represents the first line of defense in the community. It is unbelievable how society has placed the Black woman in front of the man to protect the Black community, when it's the man's responsibility. And that feeling that you have deep down inside, I want a man to protect me, I want a man to provide for me. Even Tyra Banks was on the Wendy Williams show some years ago, and Wendy Williams asked a question. She said, well, if you're on a date, what do you expect from a man? On a date, right? Now, mind you, Tyra Banks is one of the richest women in the world, one of the most prominent women in the world, running a successful enterprise. Her response was, I expect for him to pay for me. She said he needs to pay for me. And she also said he needs to get the tip too, right? Isn't it interesting how a woman who, and again, this all ties into building Black community on Wall Street and the whole 9 yards, right? We have to establish our protections, right? So this is the reason why we're having this conversation. Now, isn't it interesting how a woman who's so incredibly successful, she still has the expectation that a man must provide for her, a man must pay for her on her dates, and essentially take care of her. That's natural. That's natural order. And it's deeper than a man paying the bill or taking the tab. This is about the symbolism of what that means.
Yes.
A woman and our children and our families are designed to come under the protection of a man. And we cannot build Black community if we don't understand the role of the man, his assignment and his responsibility.
Yes, because I was always, the Bible even says the woman was created to be a helpmate to the man, not to be the boss of a man, not to be the head of a man,
Yeah,
not to wear the pants in the family.
that's very true. But see, people get they get spicy when you start talking about that. People get real spicy, And again, this is because there's an attack on natural order, See, I tell people all the time, there's a reason. Again, this is all interconnected. This is all connected to building Black Wall Street, building Black family. You cannot build Black community. You can't build Black industries. You can't build a sustainable Black empire and ecosystem. There's no structure in our relationships, no structure in our homes, no structure in the family unit. That is the foundation of Black civilization, right? So going back to what you were saying before, yes, that's true. The man is the protector. The woman is the helpmeet, and they work as a team, right? Mm-hmm. The man doesn't boss the woman, and he doesn't control, manipulate the woman. That's one extreme. No, not at all. They work together as a team.
Yes. Well, I found a picture where there's a group of men, and they were all dressed for work, and it was look at there.
Nice.
During the Black Wall Street era. All of these men were dressed, they actually were Pullman porters, and they were sticking together. They were lined up to go to work.
Yeah.
Which says a lot to me.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because now you have a lot of women leaving the home, going to work, and Tyrone and them, they staying at home playing a video game.
Oh my God. And and see, here's the thing. And I was talking to a brother the other day, and he's my age. He's my age. This brother has no job. And it's funny because he actually does stay at home and he plays video games. He also takes care of the children at home while his woman goes to work. She works 3 jobs. See, for me, I can't respect that. I cannot respect that. As a community, we need to have a standard, and there has to be a code of conduct. You cannot call yourself a man if you're not fulfilling manly duties, right? You may be a male. Now, there is a difference between being a male and a man.
Yes, there is.
Two very different. Now, all men are males biologically, but not all males are men, right? And once we establish this fundamental truth, then we can build Black community, right? See, if you don't properly identify what a man is, what he looks like, what his role is, we'll always find ourselves
what he look like.
Absolutely. What does the man look like?
I'm the queen of trying to find some pictures and put some pictures to make it all together to make it make sense, right? So, back then a man was dressed. Now it's sad.
Yeah.
Look at that.
But see, this is all a part of a systematic plot.
So the picture to the left of my screen, the men, and you think about it, the times were different. The amount of money that they made was a lot different. But look how nice those young men, and those are young men. I specifically use that picture because those men were young men.
Absolutely.
And the one on the right, they were young men as well. But look what they got on. Look, I'm so sick of seeing their pants sag. And while I was doing that, I found another picture that shows what the word sagging means. The word sagging, if you flip it around, also says.
I know exactly where you're going with that one. I know exactly where you're going.
The men back then, you didn't see anybody walking around. Their clothes might have been tattered and worn. They might have only owned 3 outfits, and that was their work clothes, their church clothes, and their sleep clothes, because that was how the wardrobe was limited back years ago. But they still took pride in how they looked when they went out of the door, because that woman got in there and she ironed and pressed, and and she sewed up all the little holes that a man's outfit might have had in it.
She had to start. She had to start.
Yeah, starched them and sent him out, starched and prep. So, you know, we have to start there, taking a pride like they had back during the Black Wall Street. They took pride. And we saying Black Wall Street people, but there were a lot of Black self-sufficient communities, not just in Tulsa, Oklahoma. You had them in Georgia, you had them in Alabama, you had Rosewood in Florida, you had North Carolina, you had all these different, you had Harlem. People having parties based off of, you know, like the Harlem Nights type movie.
Yeah, certainly.
You think about how dressed and wealthy everybody looked. They might have been broke, but they dressed and put on a nice front, which there's nothing wrong with, you know, being casual, but the men took pride.
And see, you know, you brought up such a phenomenal, so many phenomenal points, and I can take that 30 different directions. But you brought up a statement. You mentioned that there wasn't just Black Wall Street. There were many Black communities that existed that thrived. Actually, in fact, there are over 100 Black communities in America that thrived and prospered, and there were economic systems. These were self-contained Black communities, again, before the integration legislation was passed, right? Before white intervention. When we did for ourselves, we kept money in our community. Isn't it interesting how when we did for ourselves, we were not and we weren't influenced by the white supremacist economic structure. 85% of Black households were headed by Black men. Isn't that interesting? Isn't it interesting that 85% of Black households had a mother, a father, and children? We were not dependent on welfare, social services. You had doctors and lawyers.
Social services way back then.
And we thrived.
Came by, I think, don't quote me, but I want to say the 60s. Brought along the welfare system. You know, I'm a tender young thing myself, so I don't really remember. But the welfare system came in the 60s, and that's when you started seeing less men in the home because, you know, in order for the woman to receive services, a man couldn't live there. And I understand, talking to older people, they said that the social workers used to come to the house and look through the house to see if there were any article of clothing that that the man owned. So they couldn't receive anything. So that was a pairing up of the family unit right there.
Yeah, you literally strip the masculine energy from the family because, you know, it's like a house. If the house doesn't have a security system, if the house doesn't have a lock on the door, well, what happens at night? Now the house is open and vulnerable to attack. And once you take the man out of the community, now we may have males in the community, right? You may have male figures in the community, but you don't have the spirit of the man that dwells within that man, that dwells within the male, that influences the community, that influences the young Black males. Isn't it interesting how, like, you know, you have Black males who literally think it's okay to call a woman bees and hoes and thoughts and jump offs, you know? We're being influenced by a culture that is anti-Black. You look at how our hip hop artists are hot, they're hired, they're being funded by the same white supremacist economic structure that was designed to dismantle our community, you know? So we have to reestablish these truths. I talk to so many young males who think that it's okay to look for a sugar mama, you know? They think that it's okay to allow women to pay for the date, and, you know, she organized the date, she pays for the date, she drives, the house is in her name, the car is in her name, the loan is in her, everything's in her name now. You know what I mean? It's like, what's the purpose of your masculinity? Like, what's the purpose of your testosterone? Like, why did God give you more muscle mass and broader shoulders and Adam's apple? And, you know, you are biologically designed to be the head and not the tail.
Exactly.
And people get intimidated when they hear that because some women say, well, it sounds like you're putting me in bondage. No, this is not bondage. This is natural order. And the reason why we can't build community is because there's no order. There's no structure in the household. Look at the Jewish American community. Look at the role of the man in the Jewish community. Let's take a look at the role of the man in the Asian American community. All these ethnic communities have strong male leadership, strong male presence. A Jewish woman can walk her street. She can walk the streets and just feel completely safe because she knows that her man protects her. Does the Black woman, does she have the privilege to walk through her own community and feel safe by her own men?
No.
Does she feel secure?
Even I mean, you like you said, those two communities, even the Hispanic community, the women, they generally stay home and take care of the children, and the men will go out.
Yeah. And that's amazing. And this is how they're able to build the strong family units.
Yes.
You can look at how these immigrant cultures in America and outside of America, but notice how they're able to strategically aggregate the resources to purchase properties, to quote unquote buy the block. It's because they have strong nuclear bases. Everyone understands their role, right? The man's not trying to be the woman. The woman's not trying to be the man. The children are certainly not out of line. It's unacceptable. Oh, and let's talk about the role of the children. Look at how households now. Isn't it interesting how a parent will allow a child to talk back? See, I couldn't even blink the wrong way when I was growing up, let alone talk back to my parents. That right there shows me that there's weak parenting, right? Weak parenting. You have weak masculine energy. You have this weak social fabric. And then we wonder why white supremacy can come in and infiltrate. It's because the Black man has not stood up and taken his place. And they get offended when I make that statement, but it's true. If Black men were on point, if Black men collectively, I know we have some phenomenal Black men making moves, but collectively, if we were on point, if we were really the shepherds and the shields, right, for our community, there will be no way for white supremacy to come in and gentrify our neighborhoods. No way for them to come in and just completely defeat us. It will be impossible. It's impossible.
Exactly. I mean, it's so many different twists and turns to it, but it all leads back to one thing. The man being the head, being the layer under the man.
Absolutely.
Not saying under him.
No.
We're going to turn it this way. The man being the head, the woman being his helpmate.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And the children falling in place, and we have to start educating our own children. We can't just leave it up to the school system when the child turns a certain age. You push them out the door.
That's a whole other conversation in itself.
So that'll be another conversation for another week. But we can't just continue to just push them out the door and just whatever they teach them in school, that's what they learn. We need to start teaching them not only Black history, but they start knowing their family history.
Absolutely.
A lot of children now don't know who their cousins are because mama mad at this one and somebody mad at that one. And so we can't go over to cousin Pookie house because Ray did something. And so it's just a whole mess. So we need to get back to where, we used to have Sunday dinners and my grandmama would cook, and we had Sunday dinners at her house, and we went over to my aunt's house, and you didn't just get together for funerals and family reunions. Now if you get a bunch of Black people together now, let somebody die, they will fly in from overseas to tell somebody that they wouldn't pick up the phone and call. But we got to go back to the basic.
Absolutely. And these are phenomenal conversations that we need to continue to have because we have to recalibrate the minds of our people. It is unacceptable. It is unacceptable for male to talk about I'm looking for a sugar mama. Like that should be in. There's a time when remember Martin. Remember the Martin. Remember the sitcom Martin. And he discovered that his woman was making more money than him, right? Yeah. And he was like, "Oh my God!" Like he felt like his manhood was attacked. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that dynamic. What I am saying is it should be in a man's nature to say, "I'm the provider, right? Mm-hmm. I'm the one who protects you, right?" Like it's not the woman who protects the man on the street if somebody's trying to, cop him, right? It should be the man that stands up to defend and say, "No, I'm the man." You know what I mean? That's natural order. But white supremacy, they've infiltrated, they've come into our communities, they've cut off Black masculinity. If you look at the biology of a male, men have sperm cell, right? Men have testosterone. Men have larger muscle mass for a reason. It doesn't mean men are better than women or women are better than men. This is just natural, right? A man has sperm cell because he was designed to produce. He creates seed. And a woman can't do anything with a man unless he comes with a seed. If a man is trying to procreate with a woman, he comes with the seed and she fertilizes the seed and creates offspring. That's natural order.
So this video is a video which we found.
Nice.
And this is what I would just love to see. Young men, older men, they all together.
Mm-hmm.
They all together and they're all dressed. No one is sagging. Look at that.
I love it. Yeah, very nice.
So we do have some.
Very nice.
Very nice.
And think about the symbolism. Like, think about what young males and young females, young girls and young boys, think about what they internalize when they see these images of strong Black men who protect and provide. Now, I'm putting into context. I don't want to talk your ear off, but I just want to put into context. When I talk about a man being the head, there's no correlation between a man being the head of a household and abuse, right? Some people think that I'm promoting this tyrant dictatorship. No. If you look at me personally, right? Personally, I'm someone who's very spiritual. I submit to God, right? But God doesn't control me. God doesn't manipulate me. God doesn't abuse me. I can do whatever I want to do, right? But I still understand if I want a life that's in alignment, right? I come under the protection of God. The same way with the man and the woman dynamic, the family, the children dynamic, the women and children should come under the protection of the man. And once we understand this, we can rebuild Black Wall Street.
That is great. So we had a comment that popped on the screen while you were talking. It says, we're changing the narrative in our family. We attend baby showers, weddings, birthdays, graduation. I have this conversation often with my family.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you having that conversation.
Absolutely.
We need to have those conversations, so that we get it in the right order.
Order. You hit it on the nail. Order. We need order. That's what it is. Right now, the Black community, we're not even a community anymore. We just have a collection of neighborhoods, There's no order. I can't believe how kids can talk back to parents. The guy can sleep on the couch all day and play video games while she's at work, working 3 jobs. Unacceptable. Like,
you remember the movie Baby Boy? We got a lot of baby boys around.
See, that's a problem. And that's what happens when white supremacy took the Black man out of the household. Now you have women trying to raise boys. My mother was single. My mother had me at 15 years old. Did a phenomenal job. Love my mother.
Yeah, I love your mama. And I don't even know her, but I love her.
My mother was 15 when she had it. My mother is phenomenal. My father is phenomenal. I love my father. I love my family. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't be the man that I'm designed to be, right? But the reality is my mother cannot teach me how to be a man. She can do her part. She can do her part, but I need male intervention. I need a man to rough me up. I need like a man is going to challenge a boy in such a way where he struggles. A boy needs to struggle. A boy needs to understand what pain is, what suffering is, what sacrifice is. But you have too many mothers that want to coddle the sons and baby them and rescue him. And every time he goes to jail, she pays the bill to get him out of jail. She buys his car. Ray ain't got to work. I'm going to buy his car for him. She buys all of his clothes. She coddles him and treats him like a baby, even though he's 21 years old. And then you wonder why we don't have black male.
Excuse me, but I know some at the age of old. Their mama still taking care of them, grown. They still living at home in their mama basement.
Look, I'm gonna say this.
They 35, 40, 45, some of them 50. They still living in the home.
I'm gonna say this, and this is coming from a place of love. This is coming from love. Okay. Black fathers, if you're not in the family taking care of your children, you need to be rebuked. Okay, that's unacceptable, and you are part of the destruction of the Black community. And I don't take that back. That needs to be acknowledged. That's tough love. Secondly, if you're a single mother without a male figure, the first thing you want to do is find a group of healthy men, not knucklehead boys in the neighborhood, right? No, find a circle of healthy men and throw that boy into that pool. Right, he needs to be around because see, women are phenomenal. I mean, we wouldn't have life without women. I love women. Women are nurturers, but sometimes our mothers, our wonderful, lovely mothers, are too soft. They're too soft on the boys. You're paying for his video games. You're paying for his shoes. Like you're teaching him that it's okay to not struggle. You're trying to save and to rescue him from all of his pain and misery. And then you're the same women that complain and say we don't have strong Black men. The single mothers in the community without male figures, and men need to be held responsible for that. But the women, to a certain degree, need to take responsibility for facilitating this. You can't be too soft on your boy and create a strong man ready to lead and dominate his empire. It's impossible. It can't happen.
Yeah, that is so true. I mean, I was a single mom, and I had one of mine too. I have two sons, and one of them decided he was going to throw a fit in the shoe store because he wanted some shoes that cost probably almost my week's salary, and I told him no. And I'll let you use my discount. I say, son, I don't care how much of a discount you give me. He's not getting no shoes. He has not done anything to deserve that pair of shoes, first of all. I said, but I was just being me as a mom. I refused to buy him. And guess what? He has his own child now. So he was like, Mama, I understand them days when you was hard on me. I understand. I was like, you get it. So
yeah, absolutely.
I've had that over the years. Yeah,
absolutely. This is when I say disaster. And again, Black women I love Black women are phenomenal. Our mothers are phenomenal.
Yes, we are.
100%. The problem is the absence of Black male energy in the community.
Yes,
Black men, strong Black men, strong, not the weak, flimsy, bitchy, hyper emotional males become encountered. Not that. No, strong Black men. And I'm not saying they don't exist. Of course, I see strong Black men everywhere I go, right? But collectively as a community, where are those strong Black grandfathers that take the young boys out fishing every Saturday or teach them how to change the tires? I mean, there's so many boys that can't even change tires. Boys that
wait a minute. It kills me when I go to the gas station and I see a woman with a male in her car, because they in her car 9 times out of 10 it's hers because she driving. He's sitting on the passenger side. She get out. She go in the gas station. She pays for the gas. Then she comes out while he lean back.
Oh no.
And she pumps that gas.
Now that is a male. See, this is what we have to attack. That's a male, but he's not a man. See,
exactly.
See, we have to get back to basics. We need to start talking about roles. And people are very intimidated by the term, but I love the term. No, if I'm in a car with a woman and we're at the gas station, the man needs to get out the car and pump that gas, not the woman. The only time a woman pumps the gas is if no men are around, right? So if my mother is in a car by herself and I'm not around, her son's not around, then obviously she has to pump her own gas, right? But if there's certain things a woman should not have to do in the presence of a man. This is just common sense. I don't want to see my mother pumping the gas, and people get intimidated. People get intimidated because they are suggesting that we're promoting an agenda of hate, right? Like we're hating on people's independence, right? They say, well, I'm an independent thinker. I shouldn't have to be categorized as a man. I shouldn't have to be I just do what I feel. Like we live in a generation where they say, oh, I just do what I feel. Let's just flow in the wind. Like there are no roles like that.
When they come down off
again, this is a part of the destructive force. This is a part of that destructive force that has destroyed order. There's no order in our households, no order in our families, and we cannot talk about building Black Wall Street, rebuilding Black community if men don't know their roles, men don't understand that you are the protection in your community. I was walking up the street and I saw people posting up "We buy a house for cash" signs all throughout the Black neighborhoods, and I corrected that. We tore all the signs down because we understand what that means. See, you need a Black man to stand in and say, unacceptable, not on my watch. You see what I'm saying? She said, no, hate it. No, hate it. Just respecting the woman, the mother of all life. Absolutely. I agree.
Yes.
A woman wasn't designed to carry all these burdens, I was listening to a podcast recently, and her name is Tanya TKO, and she brings up a lot of powerful jewels. And she was saying, how do you expect for a woman to be feminine and graceful? And like as men, we want women to be feminine. We want women to be beautiful. We want women to be graceful. But how do you expect a woman to be feminine, graceful, and beautiful and operate in her heavenly energy, right, when she's doing the man's labor? Exactly. It doesn't work that way. Like she can't be the man and the woman and then come back home and be this graceful, feminine, energetic being. It doesn't work like that. We need the men to stand up. And once the man stands up and takes his place, everything else will fall into place.
That is so true. So, John, I have enjoyed talking to you. Mm-hmm. And I know you and we could go on and on and on.
We can.
So I want you to tell everyone, because last night I was listening to your one podcast you had going. Give everyone your information, how they can follow you.
Absolutely. So you can go to Facebook. We're building our website. The website's under construction. But you can follow us on Facebook at the Black Business Alliance Enterprises. That's the Black Business Alliance Enterprises. So if you type in the Black Business Alliance Enterprises, it's going to be the first option. Join the group, and I'm telling you, it is a dynamic group. We promote Black consciousness, Black economic empowerment, and Black community development.
All righty. Well, I will talk to you. I really appreciate you joining me. We're going to end out next week with the month with Black Wall Street, with Black history, but we're going to keep Black history will be an ongoing thing.
Absolutely.
we're going to just hit on different subjects that whether people, if you have a comment of or suggestion of a show that you would like to see here, please feel free to leave it in the comments, because John and I will do our research and we will come up with a nice.
You are certainly a researcher.
Yes, I will come up with some great pictures, and we have to thank our person in the back, Alexa, because she's always those are Alexa's fingers.
I love the team.
And you can see Alexis on Monday because she does Motivational Mondays.
Nice.
She has an awesome show where she's doing makeup tutorials and skincare. She's even kind me, which I'm not a makeup person, but she's kind me. She's gonna make my face one of these days. And on Saturday we have Mary and Tina Williams. They will be doing financial literacy. So that's teaching you how to get your finances in order and so that you can leave a legacy.
Absolutely.
Because you can't just live for today.
Yes.
We have to live so that we can leave a legacy for our children and our children's children. For each generation that's to come. So they do an awesome 30-minute show. They're in, they're out. And, every show on the SOS show, we try to keep it direct to the point and be out. So with that being said, I know it's hot where you are. It's hot where I am. I want to finish with a glass of water. Are
you sure that's water? Is that really water?
This is really water. I haven't had a drink really this year. So
okay.
I've been doing really good.
Well, I certainly can't say the same, but one thing I will say is I'm so honored to be a part of the SOS family. Thank you all for adopting me. I support the vision, love the vision. I stand right behind you all, and just thank you all. I mean, I say this emphatically. I thank you all for being the trailblazers and just paving the way for the generation so that we have content that is progressive, that can recalibrate and reconscientize our people. Reconscientize, right? That's a term that some people use now, right? It's not a real term, but they use it.
One of our meetings that we had, we talked about we can't just continue to talk about things. We had to come up with a way to try to be a part of the solution. So that's what we're trying to be, is a part of the solution. Because, like I told you, I was shy. I didn't like being on camera, but hey, I'm doing it.
Absolutely.
Just to try to help be a part of the solution. So if it made me have to step out of my comfort zone, that's what I did.
Yeah.
So
well, thank you. It's been a great show.
All righty. And I will talk to you later. Have a good weekend.
Oh, you too. Thank you.
All right. Mm-hmm.
All right. SOS show.
All right.
SOS.